SpringCon. He's going to finish the Bridgeland runs the SpringCon. You can't even right now,
one more card if you're successful.
Do you like the more part of
If you lose, nothing happens all the time. Yeah, not an issue. The disadvantage would be if you move to kind of spots where you then have a retreat. Yeah.
What else are we having? Going pretty soon here.
Okay, when you come to do a secret,
You can't choose both. You have to choose one. A long auxiliary unit with characters entering the wilderness or mountain space. Only by a long auxiliary unit.
Stand in that fort in the mountains there and just watch you all go past.
should be 48 hours.
Everybody, have your attention, please. A couple of minutes. All right, just some quick announcements. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for coming. It was great you could all come out here again. We're going to do this again next year. And I'd also like to, we're going to award some prizes right now. And we're also going to talk about some upcoming events. And to award the prizes, Neil is going to award the prizes and talk about what's coming up tomorrow.
All right, I see we've still got a couple of games that are ongoing for which we're going to be having prizes. But of the two that have finished up so far, we've had Axis and Allies Europe being played. And for that we have Lawrence who won. Lawrence? Thank you. And for the other one, we had Napoleon, the old Columbia games, block games being played. And for that we had Doug who won that. We'll get a Century Box gift certificate. So we wanted you to talk about what's coming up this evening as well. We're going to be starting a game of Conquistador right over here for those who are interested. As well, Hannibal is still going strong. They're about to enter their championship round, and it sounds like there are some pickup games of that going on too. James, are we going to be playing another round of History of the World, or how long is this going to be going on for?
We finished the game. I mean, we're only about 5 or 6 o'clock. So I said to people, we played History of the World again tonight. I know there's a lot of interest in History of the World, and we will as long as we hurry up and finish our game.
Yeah. So
Person of time.
we have the key for this place, so we can pretty much go for as late as we would like. So if you people have sleeping bags.
Somebody make a beer run. Don't abuse the non-stop coffee policy, okay? It's cut off at midnight, exactly. 12:01 you pick.
Okay, do we have a schedule for
Starting your run. What's coming tomorrow? Definitely pizza.
Yeah, tomorrow we're going to have some other interesting games coming up. Another round of Axis and Allies. As well, we have Battle Cry, which is a fairly new Civil War game.
Yeah, as I mentioned on that, we've got 2 sets of the game. I've got a third. You can bring a third? Can you bring a third tomorrow, Chris? It's here? Okay, good. There's actually quite a bit of interest in it. I'm just going to run a little mini tournament, so if anybody's interested in playing, they do have a copy, bring it tomorrow.
Battle Cry. So Rory is going to be running Advanced Kingmaker. We've already had one person who is keen eager to go for that, so that'll probably be a go right there. Ronald in the Desert, for those of people who want to bone up for SpringCon, we certainly look at ourselves as being the place where you learn the games in a friendly environment, so you can go forth and conquer in a more competitive environment.
We're friendly too. Just sharper knives.
And we'll also be having the new advanced Third Reich set up. It doesn't sound like there's a whole lot of...
It'll be set up.
Yeah.
Somebody got to look at the box.
Okay.
That's
The box will exist.
It hasn't been getting very strong reviews, but we certainly want to, as a club, introduce to people the new games that are on the shelves, let people have a look at them and form their own opinions. The new version of Risk 2210, the futuristic Risk, will be playing that in the afternoon, along with another new game, Clash of Giants from GMT Games. And last of all, When Eagles Fight, Rob Bowman will be bringing up his old favorite.
Play that.
It'll be open gaming.
Yeah, we can play that as a pickup game. We did have that scheduled to be played today as an event, but we didn't get the interest. But we have copies of it around, and certainly free players floating around. If you're interested in playing something and you see a game there and you see someone looking lost, grab them and sit them down and start playing.
Unless it's Lawrence, he always looks that way.
So I'll make a few mention of some of our upcoming events as well. We just had a very successful diplomacy event, and I'm sure we're going to be doing
I'll say a few words about that later.
So our next event is actually Colonial Wars. That's going to be coming up on the 9th of March. For those people who are interested in wilderness wars, we're going to be having a go at that again, as well as Pax Britannica, the Boer Wars, and colonial diplomacy. So some really interesting theme games around colonial wars going on there. As well as later on in March, we're going to be having our World War II event. So I can see how much of a strong following that Totaler Krieg has gotten, as well as Advanced Third Reich. We'll certainly be having those there, as well as Breakout Normandy and Golden Flames. So some really exciting events coming up. And that's about it for our upcoming stratagem events. I guess I'll hand it over to Dave to do a talk about SpringCon.
Okay, I'll do a little pitch on SpringCon, which we play first weekend in May. And there's 5 games selected, and you select 3 of those 5 games that you wish to play. And then it's basically 4 rounds where you play those games. It is, as Neil said, it's a little more competitive, but we still definitely invite newcomers. If you don't know a game, then you'll play an individual. They'll get the victory points for that round, but they'll teach you the game. So then next year, we tend to keep pretty much the same games year to year with just a minor rotation. Next year, you'll know the game. So there's a little bit of information on the boards around here, and we're also going to send it out. If you're on the Stratagem newsletter, we'll send out more info on it. And if you have any questions, just give me a call or email.
You want to list the games?
Yeah, okay, yeah. Ones we got for this year, we've got Axis and Allies. It's a 2-player variant, so it's just actually in Europe. It's very similar to the new Axis and Allies Europe one. We've got Columbia's East Front game, and playing the 1942 scenario. Fortress America, one of the pretty popular Milton Bradley ones, similar to Axis and Allies. Hannibal, which quite a few people play today, and Rumble in the Desert, which I'll be willing to teach anyone tomorrow morning if they want to give it a try. So then you select 3 of those 5 games, and then you play a variety of those 3 throughout the weekend.
So if everyone has their door, the sign-up sheets in the box that the questionnaires filled out, we're going to be doing a draw for, how did we want to do the draw then? We'll do it tomorrow. Or do you want to do it tomorrow then?
We'll do it tomorrow.
Or do you want to
We'll do it tomorrow, but if you're not here tomorrow, that's all right. We'll contact you.
We'll get the games for you.
And we'll get the games.
for handing out. They're at the front.
So I just have a few more announcements. Now, Dave briefly mentioned the newsletter. We haven't had the newsletter in about a month or 2. That's because Shaw's had some problems, and we, of course, are hosting at Shaw. So on the list, you'll notice we have a particular email address and a particular web page. These are unreliable. Don't use these. They might not work. What you might want to do is get my email address, my personal email address, or the personal email address of one of the executive, just for the short term. The new email address for Stratagem is stratagem@shaw.ca. Give that one a try. But the web page won't be available just yet. And the newsletters we hope to resume shortly. For those of you who aren't signed up to the newsletter, you already are, because by the process of filling out your StratCon registration by writing down your email address. You signed up for the newsletter. The newsletter contains information about upcoming events, information about past events. We have game reviews done all the time. You can submit anything in there. You want to sell a game or you want to find someone to play a particular game, you can send it to me. I'll put it in there. Submit a game review and all those fun things. I want to say a couple words about diplomacy. I know this isn't a diplomacy tournament, but I just want to say it was a great success this year. And next year is actually a special year because it's the 10th anniversary of the Stratagem Diplomacy Tournament. It's also the 10th anniversary of Stratagem, the diplomacy being the first part. It's James's 10th year, and we really want to have a big blowout next year. And so next year we're going to pull out all the stops. I've already talked to the World Diplomacy Organizer. Next year the World Championship is in Denver. And so as a result, we're kind of trying to encourage people to come to Calgary first, so international people, come to Calgary first to warm up, have a good time, then go to the World Championships in Denver. James and I are going to Denver to the World Championships, and we welcome everyone to come along with us. We send, say, 5 or 6 of us. I think we can really have a good showing there. We've got some really great players here. At this year's World Championships in Canberra, we have a guy named Larry Peary, who those of you who went to the tournament this year have met. He's going to go down there, tell everyone about it, get everyone to come out here. And we want everyone to come. So if you're not a diplomacy player, we're going to have Machiavelli, we're going to have colonial diplomacy, we're going to have a lot of variants. So even if you're not interested in diplomacy, show your support for Stratagem, celebrate the 10th anniversary, celebrate what James started 10 years ago, we've all contributed to ever since. Come out, make this a special event, and help me be great hosts, help us all be great hosts for the people that do come from abroad. And also, very importantly, we will not be holding it the first weekend in January as usual. Instead, we're going to move it into February to coincide with the World Championships for the next week in Denver. So I'll be sending information about that. So that's going to be the second weekend in February, not the first weekend in January. As a result, StratCon next year will be moved to the first weekend in January. So we'll keep you abreast of all those decisions when they're made. And one more point, because I really want to blow the roof off next year for the diplomacy tournament, I'm really hoping everyone can find a way to contribute in their own way. For instance, if you know someone who runs a hotel, maybe give it a special deal for the international travelers. If you know someone who runs some sort of tour bus or something, maybe you get a deal for them. If you know someone to advertise, a radio station, TV station, anything at all, prizes you can donate, anything at all. Really, come forward, come to Peter James, contribute in any fashion that you can. I really want to do a great job for next year's diplomacy tournament. And if you have any questions about that or to contribute, come see me before I come see you. I'd also like to thank everyone that made this thing possible. Now, of course, that's the Stratagem executive. Hold your applause for all of them. Like Neil and Rory and everybody. I'd like to thank all the moderators, like Dave, and, well, everyone on the schedule. You see their names. I'd like to thank everyone for coming, because these events wouldn't be possible with all the people that come. I'd also like to thank Sentry Box, who made some contributions. I'd like to thank Columbia Games, who sponsored us. I'd like to thank great Canadian vendors, who provide us with the food. And that's it. I'd like to thank everyone. So give everyone a big round of applause. And before I turn this over to Neil or anyone who wants to say something, we're going to order some pizza. We're going to have some pizza delivered here. I'm going to order in about 5-10 minutes. If you want to chip in and get some pizza, come talk to me and tell me what you want, tell you what you want to pay. And for those of you who don't want to go through the bother, we still have a lot of food. We still have, lots of sandwiches, I'm sure. So if you just want to get some sandwiches, have a Coke, whatever, just, you know what to drill. Just go to Lawrence, go to the front, and get it there. Thanks.
Can I grab everyone's attention at an opportune moment here? How much interest is there in diplomacy tomorrow?
Diplomacy tomorrow.
Oh, that's going to be boring.
Okay, I'll say
Steve, but keep that one at home.
I think I'll stay home then.
Yeah, okay, so we'll scratch diplomacy off the list for tomorrow. Thanks,
That's
everyone.
the second year in a row that diplomacy has gone down to defeat at StratCon because it's too close to the diplomacy training.
That's the result. We might not do
I
diplomacy
think
next
that's
year.
something to do.
This is up to you guys and everything too. We might have a StratCon like the second or third week of January, that we can still play the most of the group.
Yeah.
Anyways, thanks everybody, and we'll
Yeah.
take that offline and sign up for pizza with Rob.
I'll be at the front.
Thank you.